Do you have a prediction for 2024 of what you might think might happen in terms of podcasts or in media more widely? What are you thinking?
I mean, to keep it on the podcast front, I guess, and to talk about a theme that we've seen a lot of today and in other conferences, AI, I think, is on everybody's lips. So we did some research recently and we saw that, generally speaking, audiences are quite in favour of AI in the podcast space, at least. But interestingly, it's more about the kind of the creation and the ideation and using AI to make things relevant. Rather than AI taking over. I think there's still a bit of a worry there for 2024 that it's going to replicate voices, make things not authentic anymore, which is really the core of podcasting, is being authentic and genuine. So there's that, and I think based on what we've been doing the last couple of years, there's certain markets where we think we could put a good bet on them booming this year, so that's quite exciting.
I think with podcasting, I guess with the AI side of things, do you think there might be like AI podcast presenters? Like you might have AI influencers? Is that something
possible,
in the future?
But then I think it's that's where everybody's worry comes in. Like, is that what we want to happen? Like, what happens to those podcasters? You know, you can't replace the authenticity, the genuine voice of content creator. So I think AI has its place kind of in the background, helping with the ideas. On the targeting front for advertisers, making sure that we get relevant ads to the right people using that data. I personally don't really want to see a world where we're replacing like valid and authentic voices with the machine, but you know, why not for certain parts of it?
And that kind of ties back to the trust, which came up a lot today in various panels and presentations. What was your standout moment or moments from the presentations and the content today?
Yeah, I mean, there were quite a few. I think something that Jerry D'Angelo said at the end, where we were talking about bringing creativity back into the advertising space.
Lots of pieces of work are pointing to the fact that creativity is by a large factor the biggest impact on advertising profitability. And we as an industry have, I think, in many ways been completely suckered for the last 2 decades and have been really focusing on data and technology and targeting. And so my wish, I think, would be for us to really focus back on creativity in a way that drives businesses for advertisers.
I think measurement obviously has its place, measurement, targeting. But I think something he said that resonated was that we shouldn't forget that, you know, brands ultimately advertise for the profitability of the brand. So just leading somebody to a certain landing page or a certain place so that you can measure it better isn't always the ideal thing. So I think we need to take a step back sometimes from being super granular, measuring every little piece just because we can, and maybe think about the broader picture of what we should be doing with advertising.
Yeah, and that also, what the creativity and that.
Yeah.
That's also linked. And
yeah.
I loved Lindsay Clay's moment of standing up and saying, look, this is what creativity does.
Right, is everybody looking at me at this moment? That is what it's like when you put a fantastic piece of television or AV or an amazing campaign up on stage at an industry event. All those meerkat heads pop up from their seats and they look at it and they smile and they enjoy it and then they go down again. That is the impact that great creativity can have.
Yeah, the thing that stands out in a crowd of everybody using the same data and everybody using kind of the same targeting, I think the one thing that stands apart is creativity. And that's what's great about audio space and podcasts in general, is it comes from a place of originality, creativity. You can do a lot in that space. So yeah, a nice blend of the two, I guess, having the data behind it and the creativity, yeah.
And if you could wave a magic wand and change something about media advertising industry in 2024, what would it be?
There's probably plenty of things. I think, I would move it more towards the creative side of things. I think in podcasting in general, and from my role, sort of looking around the world at where's booming on an audience front and where's booming in terms of the content, I think what I would love to do is wave a magic wand and just fill those content gaps. You know, like we see, I think when we did the latest study, 93% of people in Singapore say that they listen daily to podcasts. It's a massive amount, but yet the amount of content being built there hasn't quite caught up with the audience want there. So I think for me there's certain markets and certain genres of podcasts that I just love to kind of wave a magic wand and catch up with the demands.
Give them a boost.
Yeah.
If you like this video, please subscribe. The Media Leader is the UK's leading source of analysis, opinion and data for people who work in advertising and media.